Hey friends, welcome to my list of top 10 indie games.
This is not good enough. I need to win the viewer. Welcome to my epic top 10 indie games list. You want people to watch you? Make it worth their while. Welcome to this awesome, epic, mega, legendary top 10 indie games list of 2007. No, of all times.
Is it hot in here or is it just me? Now obviously I haven't played every single indie game there is, so if you don't see your favorite game in this list, that's too bad. Let's start.
Number 10.
Don't Starve is a 2D stylized survival game in which you have to survive for the longest possible time. You start the game and you realize there are so many things around you. You start picking up flowers, flints and berries. After a while, darkness engulfs you and you die a slow and horrific death. Oh, actually not a slow one. This has got to be every player's first playthrough. Come on guys, it can't be just me, right? This kills you, these kill you, and that kills you.
This game is unfair!
Then you realize you don't have to be an idiot and you can actually move after each attack.
Hey, this game is awesome!
After being on a berry diet for 3 years, you finally find out about the crockpot. Now you can cook! The game has a huge variety of over 40 different recipes. Each one has a different benefit. This complex yet needless system is something you have to master in order to survive for more than a few in-game days. It can be the difference between life and death. Just make meatballs. Always make meatballs. If at this point you somehow still manage to die from starvation, then please proceed to take the nearest to your location hammer, go to your computer and swing that hammer at your face, because there is literally no way you can die from starving. You will need to eat one of those every 17 days or so and you will be fine. The indie title even has a built-in secret warning message as well. It considers eating too many meatballs as cheating, so make sure you don't abuse that. It could get you banned.
But Dot, it's a single player game. How can you get banned?
Just shut up, okay? So now you aren't playing Don't Starve anymore. Now you're playing Don't Do Something Stupid instead. I found the game to get quite boring after the first 50 days or so, because there aren't really that many things to do. You build your base, you eat meatballs, you go around killing a bunch of stuff, and that's it, really. Normally I always end up getting bored and going after a dragonfly once that happens, and I always die. But hey, that's me. All in all, a very fun game if you're just getting into it, but definitely needs more content to keep more experienced players interested.
Number 9.
The Stanley Parable is one of those games that slap you for just trying it. Like this. He plays a Stanley guy who depressingly enough has been pressing buttons his whole life. Much like me. Walk out of your office and get to this place.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
At this point the game gives you the I'm my own boss starter pack and you feel great. A minute later this happens.
I want you to come in and tell me all about
Your damn Gotcha! Oh, come on. Did you actually think you had a loving wife?
And you can feel the narrator shoving that boss back up your 5 minutes later and you find yourself in Minecraft. Like, what? What is even going on? This is the moment you realize you spent 15 hard-earned dollars on a walking simulator that insults you. Remember what I told you about the game slapping you? It happens over and over and over again. But you like it. For some twisted reason that is way beyond me, the game feels oddly satisfying. I know, it makes no sense. On a deeper level, under all of the careless jokes and satire, the game also offers a very deep and philosophical layer. Beware, however, if you venture this deep, you will uncover a world of questions. The embodiment of philosophy itself. You will start questioning life and even your own existence. But what is my meaning? All in all, the game is unique. Lots of fourth wall breaking, lots of satire, lots of tears.
Stanley was fat and ugly and really stupid. He probably only got the job because of a family
and a ton of fun. Definitely a must try.
Number 8.
The Long Dark is the absolute pinnacle of survival games. You start the game being like, oh, okay, let's gather some resources. 60 seconds later, your character's temperature has dropped to 0 and you've got hypothermia. Better find a way to warm yourself up. That by itself is no easy feat. If you're lucky enough, you stumble across a house. Yay! If you're unlucky enough... Oh no! Leave me alone! Tools cannot be crafted, you'll have to find them. I suppose that's good because, come on. If you have 2 sticks and 3 pieces of stone, how would you make a pickaxe in real life? Wolves are extremely annoying and rabbits are nearly impossible to hit with a stone. That moment you find a huge house full of supplies though. It feels amazing. Priceless. Breathtaking. Not for the guy who went on a holiday without locking his property first, but oh well. The Long Dark is a very difficult and sometimes even unfair game. That is why you still don't know what you're doing or you're not familiar with the map. But it's the most realistic survival game I've played. You will die. Like a lot. But once you start surviving for longer than a day, without any problems, you start feeling like Bear Grylls. Yeah. And that's a feeling worth playing for. Number 7. Amnesia is considered the scariest horror game of all times by many. I still remember the first time I tried playing it. Started the game, got scared by the winds, and called it a day. For the next 500 days. The atmosphere is unlike any other game. Even today, whenever I hear the howling of the brood, I get goosebumps in places I wish not to discuss. Talking about my genital. You play the game for about an hour before you come across any enemies, which serves as the foreplay. Afterwards, you encounter the first monster, the Kairnk. Who came up with that name? A little later, you're introduced to the Grunt. It's a derpy little creature with a very funny face. You're still alright, since the Grunt cannot one-shot you. But wait! You keep playing and you come across this! Something has killed the Grunt. A couple of seconds later, you hear the sound of death approaching. And trust me, you will poop a little. This is everyone's favorite brute! A super fast killing machine that one-shots you most of the time. Like, it's not even funny, man. I never really got into the story because, come on, it's a medieval castle with sci-fi elements. Imagine it's the other way around. A spaceship full with knights and chickens. Those kinda sound like the same way to me. There's even a guy who donates his head so he can close an otherworldly portal. I mean, what? Lots of darkness, lots of scares, and an atmosphere like no other. That's what awaits you in Amnesia: The Dark Descent. The game even has a very successful sequel, Amnesia: A Machine for Pigs. Oh my god, a very successful sequel. Number 6. SuperHot. More like Super Dot. Am I right? SuperHot is a slow-mo shooter in which time only moves when you move. Alright game, explain this. Why is the enemy moving? False advertising much? While playing this game there's a slight chance you'll start making karate sounds. Heyo! Because it makes you feel like freaking Bruce Lee. It starts off relatively easy with just you against 2 or 3 enemies, but by the end of it, it's you against half of China. Of course that's not even an issue since you're Jason Statham. On steroids. Fighting kids. Jokes aside, you're gonna die. A lot. But then you're bound to find out that jumping breaks the AI's brain completely. It's like, not jumping versus jumping. At this point it's easy mode unlocked. My personal opinion, the game is crazy fun. Feeling like Jackie Chan is something achievable only in SuperHot. It's unique and it's definitely worth checking out. Number 5. Hyper Light Drifter is an exceptional fast-paced top-down action game. Ever wanted to feel like you're a part of Naruto? Well, now you can play as Rock Lee. Unlike most games in which you have such fast movement, here you're not too overpowered. You actually feel kind of underpowered, to be honest. Monsters will make you vanish faster than you can say, "Look at my also pants!" Except if you've brought your trustworthy heroine. Look at all the health. If you're wondering what the boss will be like, don't worry. You'll get to know them in the 2 hours you'll be spending beating each one of them. This butt. This is the definition of a douchebag. It has 5000 health, its attacks are extremely annoying, and it spawns these stupid little buttholes. At the end of the day, however, once you defeat each boss, you just feel fulfilled. You feel like you've actually accomplished something significant with your life. Like everything is right for once. The ultimate peace. So zen. I had to pick one thing I absolutely love in the game, however, I'll have to pick the soundtrack. This is by far the most creative and unique song writing I have ever heard, and I've played well over 150 indie games. The sounds used to create the music are so weird. The game is really short, but it's well worth its cost. If you're a fan of dark or realistic games, you should definitely throw your money at this one. Number 4. I don't know about you, but a game where a girlfriend gets kidnapped by a fetus immediately grabs my attention. In my opinion, Super Meat Boy is the best platformer game ever created. You place this red cube of meat and you have only 4 buttons: left, right, jump and sprint. It doesn't get much simpler than this. Once you start the game for the first time, you're probably like, this is pretty easy, I'm really good at this. After 5 levels you go, alright, it's getting interesting, but I'm still the man. 2 hours later you break your first keyboard and you're already ordering a new one from Amazon. The difficulty ramps up very quickly, and after you finally get used to controls, you realize the problem is not in them. For some reason you feel like your reflexes are similar to those of a chess player. A slow one as well. Then you die 1,000 more times until you miraculously manage to finish the game. Finally, you're the master of Super Meat Boy. And then the game slaps you across the face and tells you to wake up. The dark world is waiting for you. Start the game over, but this time everything is way more difficult. Remember that very first level where nothing could kill you? Well, here it is now. You might as well waste 10 minutes trying to get past it. That's not even everything. If by some sheer luck you manage to finish this as well, worry do not. Here's the level for unlocking the kit. If by now you haven't broken at least 3 monitors and 7 keyboards, you probably have a depersonalization disorder. If you've somehow managed to finish this level as well, congratulations, you've won in life. The controls are as smooth as a baby's butt. So if you die, it's your fault, nobody else's. It sucks even more because you cannot even rage properly at this game. Shouting, "Damn it, I'm so bad at this!" is not nearly as effective as "I hate this game, man!" The soundtrack is also amazing. I found myself listening to the OST of Super Meat Boy while working on other things. Something I've never ever done prior to this game. Overall, a fantastic indie game if you're a fan of rage-inducing platformers. Number 3. Afterbirth is one of the most played horror games in the past few years, and trust me, it definitely deserves it. You play as this psychotic painter that comes home after he's been away for a while. Once he sees his canvas, something happens and he starts having hallucinations about his past. As you progress through the game, you find a lot of fun stuff, even your wife is there. Hey, pretty! The gameplay consists of getting jump scared constantly, which is the aspect I really disliked about it. I'd prefer an atmosphere like Amnesia's any day, where something can actually chase you down and kill you, but oh well. Even if I find this to be a huge flaw, Layers of Fear just won me with its story. It's perfect. I haven't used that word oftenly in my life. You paint on your canvas with parts of your family, which symbolize your preference to be an artist rather than a loving father and a husband. Your wife, hey honey, has her face burned because of some fire accident and you don't care again. You just rather paint. You find all of these little notes here and there that describe how you've slowly fallen into madness, and just the whole story is so darn good. I love it. The soundtrack of this game is really good as well. It fits really well. So beautiful yet so dark and evil. Just wow. And if all of that somehow didn't manage to cut it for you, here's a clip of a baby slamming its face against a wall. I know. Go get your wallet. Number 2! In The Binding of Isaac, you play as Isaac. No one saw this one coming. Your fanatical Christian mother is given a command by God that she has to sacrifice you. You ask her to cut the mushrooms, but to no avail. In an attempt to escape, you open the little trapdoor in your room and you go all, "See you!" on your mom. In this indie game, you use your tears as a weapon. Something I can totally relate to thanks to the fact that I live in a cardboard box on the streets. Every single playthrough is randomized, meaning that replayability is strong with this one. There are literally a ton of items, so you can get some very powerful combinations that will instantly kill even the strongest bosses. Or you might end up fighting a boss for 15 minutes just to lose in the end. One little thing I dislike about the game is that some of the items are extremely vague. Like, alright, what the hell does this actually do? I have to then head over to my favorite Google, write it down and check it out online. Sounds great if you have internet. Otherwise you end up wondering what the item does for hours and hours. You'll get detached from real life. Your boss will be speaking to you, but you won't hear him at all. You'll be all like, what does it mean? And you'll get fired. Then your wife will cheat on you, and you'll lose the house after the divorce. In this sense, the banning of Isaac could actually ruin your life, so be careful. There is also something very dark about this game. Like, have you seen the Rebirth teaser trailer? This is some nightmare fuel, man. But I love it! Soundtrack complements that really well too. All in all, a very solid game if you're looking for something to play multiple times without getting bored. Number 1! Slenderman is just... I can't do this, man. Terraria is a 2D side-scrolling game where you find stuff, you craft even more stuff, and you do stuff. It's pretty difficult to generalize this game with one sentence because there's just so much to do. Every world is randomly generated, so exploration will remain a thing with each new playthrough. There are many enemies to discover, many bosses to defeat, many bunnies to behead, and even fishing that nobody really likes. What at first seems like a very calm and relaxing game later turns into this absolute cluster of projectiles, and what the hell is even going on right now? Terraria, ladies and gentlemen. This game has also given me the biggest heart attack of all times. Oh! Beats any horror game in a heartbeat. You'll fight a huge ice, a mechanical worm, a plant, and even... Oh my god! Not the slime! Get wings, craft weapons, make some armor, shelter the homeless, get killed by a slime, survive a pirate invasion. There are just so many things to do in this game. With over... a lot of items. Finding craft, you'll never get bored. Be a mage, be an archer, be a warrior, don't be a summoner. Oh my god! All the options! I've played well over 2000 hours in Terraria throughout my life and can say that this is my all-time favorite in the game. It's amazingly fun and has enough content to remain fresh for a very long time. Well, this should conclude my awesome, epic, mega legendary top 10 indie games list of all times. But wait, before you go, make sure you hit that subscribe button to watch my future videos. I make funny short indie games highlights. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this little top 10 list. Let me know what you think about it with a little comment. Also throw a thumbs up at my face if you enjoyed the video. It's muchos appreciated. Until next time.